Anna, a 26-year-old nurse, was barely keeping her head above water. Drowning in debt, with no family to lean on, she had nothing but her scrubs, her stethoscope, and a faint hope that life might one day give her a break. Fresh out of nursing school, she dreamed of landing a steady hospital job with decent pay. But reality was harsh. Months of rejections, unpaid internships, and tear-soaked nights left her feeling defeated. One day, Anna spotted a faded job posting on a community bulletin board. It was for a private caregiver role for an elderly man. Low pay, live-in position. It wasn't glamorous, far from the dreams she'd once held, but it was something. Desperate for work, she decided to give it a shot. The address led Anna to a weathered house on the outskirts of town, the kind of place people passed without a second glance. No fence, no garden, just a crooked mailbox and a porch that groaned under her steps. When the door creaked open, she met Mr. Henry. He was tall, but hunched, dressed in faded work clothes with sharp eyes that seemed to see right through her. The interview was over in minutes. "Start tomorrow," he said gruffly. "Bring your stuff." The next morning, Anna moved in with just 2 bags to her name. Her room was simple: a bed, a wooden dresser, and a window overlooking a dusty backyard. Mr. Henry lived quietly, rarely speaking, spending his days in an old armchair by the window, sometimes reading, sometimes just staring. But Anna noticed something odd from the start. He watched her, not in a creepy way, but as if he was searching for something in her. She brushed it off and focused on her job, keeping his bed clean, his soup hot, and tending to Mr. Henry as his health declined. The job was tougher than Anna expected. She worked tirelessly, scrubbing floors, changing sweat-soaked sheets, and tending to Mr. Henry as his health declined. While her old classmates posted photos of new apartments and exciting lives on social media, Anna toiled in silence. Debt collectors hounded her phone, friends urged her to quit, and her former landlord's cruel words stung deep. "You're throwing your youth away," one friend said. "He's going to die soon. Why waste your life on someone who can't give you anything?" One day, her old landlord showed up at the house, leaning against the doorframe with a smirk. "So, this is where you ended up, huh? Taking care of some dying old man. Bet it already smells like a grave in there." Anna bit her tongue, swallowing her hurt. She knew her work mattered, even if no one else saw it. Over time, Anna began to notice strange things. Every week, a sleek black car pulled up to the house. A suited driver, silent as stone, handed Mr. Henry a sealed envelope and left. Once, Anna's curiosity got the better of her, and she glanced at the envelope, but Mr. Henry snatched it away and locked it in a drawer. Another time, she found a shelf of heavy books, not novels or memoirs, but dense volumes on finance, banking, and law. When she asked about them, Mr. Henry's eyes lingered on her before he replied softly, "Just relics from another life." One night, Anna awoke to the sound of violent coughing. She rushed to Mr. Henry's room, finding him trembling, soaked in sweat. She placed a cool cloth on his forehead and held his hand. "Anna," he whispered, his voice frail but clear, "you're the only one who's ever treated me like a person." Those words sank deep into her heart. She stayed by his side all night, sensing he knew something she didn't. As weeks passed, Mr. Henry grew weaker. He ate less, spoke less, but his eyes never stopped watching Anna, filled with a mix of peace and something like regret. One day, while folding his clothes, Anna noticed tiny tags sewn into the collars: Paris 1975, Tokyo 1982, New York 1967. She held one up, puzzled. "What are these?" she asked. Mr. Henry gazed out the window before answering. "Reminders of who I used to be," he said, his voice heavy with memory. Anna pressed gently. "And who was that?" He offered a faint smile. "Someone who forgot how to live, until you came along." The words confused her, but they tugged at her heart. By the week's end, Mr. Henry could barely sit up. Anna stayed by his side, sleeping on a cot she dragged into his room, holding his hand through tremors, singing soft lullabies when he woke in fear, and whispering prayers when she thought he might slip away. One morning, she brought him a warm bowl of oatmeal. He was already gone, his face calm, as if he had simply chosen to let go in his sleep. Anna stood frozen, the bowl still in her hands, tears streaming down her cheeks. She hadn't expected the pain to cut so deep. Mr. Henry wasn't just a patient, he'd become family, the one person who truly saw her in a world that looked away. 3 days later, a man in a suit knocked on the door, the same driver who delivered the envelopes. He handed Anna a letter summoning her to a law office. Still in her wrinkled scrubs, she arrived, feeling out of place in the polished room. The lawyer, Mr. Davis, greeted her with a knowing look. Mr. Henry wasn't who you thought. He was a financial genius, the silent owner of 9 private banks across Africa and Europe. Anna's breath caught. "Banks?" she stammered. Mr. Davis nodded, sliding a thick document across the desk. "Every share, every asset, every building, it's all yours now." Anna stared, her hand shaking as she read the papers. The man who lived in a dusty house wearing threadbare clothes was worth billions, and he'd left it all to her, a struggling nurse who'd only wanted to do right by him. Word spread like wildfire. Old friends resurfaced, claiming closeness they'd never shown. Former co-workers begged for jobs. Strangers called her a long-lost cousin. Even the hospital that once rejected her offered her a position. But the worst came when her old landlord appeared at the gate of Mr. Henry's house, his arrogance gone. "Anna," he said, his voice trembling, "I heard what happened. My business is failing. I'm drowning in debt. I know I was awful to you, but please, can you loan me some money? I'll pay you back." Anna looked at him, not with anger or vengeance, but with quiet clarity. She remembered his mockery, the nights she cried because of his words. Without a word, she walked past him and stepped into the black car waiting for her. "Where to, ma'am?" the driver asked. Anna glanced back at the house, at the memories of care and loss, and smiled. "To my next meeting," she said. "And tell the team I want to start planning our first outreach program. We're building free clinics." As the car pulled away, Anna leaned back, closed her eyes, and whispered, "All I did was care for a man the world forgot. I didn't know he was building a legacy for me, but I didn't do it for a reward. I did it because it was right." Anna's story is a reminder that kindness, no matter how small, can open doors you never imagined. You don't need applause or recognition to help someone in need. Sometimes the simplest acts of care lead to the greatest rewards. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear that doing good always matters.